Welcome to the start of my planner project. Just want to show you how I started to put it together. So right here I have my graph paper and the arc rings that are 1.5 inches. They are a bit big, but we'll see as it gets built if the planner is going to work okay with this larger rings. This is a piece of chipboard that's in the package, and I use that as my cover. So you'll see that in this part I've already punched out my calendars for 2015 and 16, and they do flip over quite easily and they aren't falling out. You give them a little tug and they're still in there, so it didn't turn out too bad. I just printed those on my computer using the A5 size on the printer. And then this is the graph paper, and it all turns exactly the same. So it starts out not too bad. We'll see how it continues on. Now this is a spiral bound album that I already had. You will see that the chipboard cover is very thick compared to the chipboard that I'm going to be using for the other planner. This album is 8 by 8 in size, and it already has the lines on the paper. For the calendar, I am just going to glue the pages on and leave them that way instead of punching them, just so it lines up a little bit easier. I did punch a piece of paper that I just folded in half, and I did that with my cinch. This one I used every single hole or every peg to punch, compared to the arc system where you use every other hole. So you'll see that in a little bit, the difference. It is a little bit easier when you do it with a spiral because you don't have to worry about lining it up as much. And it does slip in very easily to the spiral bound binder, and it does move quite nicely, and it looks like it's actually supposed to be there. Now you will notice one difference, that the cinch that I have has the round holes versus this spiral binder has the square holes. So it depends if you're concerned about that kind of look. So what I did here is put the graph paper onto the rings. Now I found that I could not do the whole package of 50 in one shot. I could only do about 12 sheets at a time, and it was a little bit of a fight with it to get it started. As I did add the extra pages, it did get a little bit easier. But again, these rings are really large too, so it's a little bit of fumbling to get it all done. They do fit in there. And the pages seem to fold back a little bit once the ring is on and set in place. Okay, so now we'll set up the cinch machine. As you can see, I have pulled out the arm about 1/2 centimeter. It's hard, I didn't zoom in very well. So my paper's going to be not lined up as the instructions say on the cinch. It's out 1/2 centimeter. Now every other peg, all the even number pegs are pulled out so that we're only punching half of the holes. So now I'll pull the arm all the way out as in the instructions, but I'm going to do a little twist here on it. In the very back, you'll see that there is a hole that you can line up your holes with. What I did was I took the very last hole that I punched and lined it up there. It does stick over the arm a little bit, but this is how it's going to line up nicely. So once that's set and flush with the back, you just punch the last 2 holes. And that's all you need the cinch for, to punch this. Now you need to cut the holes to make them more like the arc. I just eyeballed them. As you'll see, they're different sizes, and I did find in the end the bigger size is what you really need. It probably is best to line it up with the arc paper and just trace it, and that way it does line up, because I did find that sometimes my holes were over to the left or the right a little bit, the slices. And you do see how thick they should actually be. And it does make it a little bit more difficult to turn your paper if they're too small. Just slide this back, and I will put it in the front of my planner. Now, as you add pages, it does look a little bit better with the large rings. And once the cover does go on, it is a little bit nicer too. And there you'll see it does flip over quite easily, and it does lay flat. So that is how I got started on my planner, and that's how I will be punching the cover and the other pages. So for more information, visit my blog, mystampnook.blogspot.ca. Thanks.